What was there a black market for at your school that wasn't drugs? A friend and I created a black market in plain sight. A couple of friends in the marching band gave us their fundraiser boxes after they sold their candy. We bought bulk candy and sold it in class. And not a single teacher questioned our fundraiser. Greed brought us down. We tried to make a pyramid scheme where we sold candy kits to recruits. But one of the recruits lost his kit and wanted his money back. He threatened to snitch. So we shut the whole thing down. I used to sell quesadillas at school. My mom would make them right before lunch and then drop them off in a black Nike duffel bag. She would make about 30-40 quesadillas for about $20 and sell them for $4 EA. Your mom is part of a cartel. Salt packets. Healthy eating rules have removed literally all the salt from our food at school. It all tastes like ass. So people steal packets from McDonald's and sell them at school for a profit. Soda. Students used to be able to get into the unlocked teacher's lounge and get sodas from the machine. But one day they decided to switch out all the sodas with weird healthier alternatives. One kid decided to fill his entire locker with boxes of cans of sodas and start selling them. Some teachers bought from him too. I've posted this before, but it fits perfectly here. They got rid of the soda machines at my high school, which caused the students to get really pissed. A buddy of mine bought a bunch of 12 packs of store brand sodas for $3 each and a huge cooler. He showed up the very next day after they removed the machines and charged $1 per soda. The demand was insane and he sold out each day right when lunch started. The staff got pissed and stopped allowing him to bring the cooler. So instead, he brought a huge gym bag that he claimed he needed for PE class and filled it with sodas. He couldn't keep up with the demand, so he cut another guy in and had him carry a gym bag too. Years after he graduated, his sister attended the same high school and someone asked her if her brother was the soda guy. He had become a legend just that fast, lol. Back in middle school I sold gum and ended up having to hire people to keep up with demand. Gum wasn't allowed on campus and my business got so big that the school actually ended up changing its rule and allowed gum in order to put my business out of business, when in reality it just boosted my customer base because more kids wanted gum. Broadband internet became a thing when I was in 7th grade. Me and about 2 or 3 other kids were the first ones to get it. We immediately capitalized off the early days of piracy. We were also some of the first kids with CD burners, DVD burners in our PCs. This was like 1999 to 2000. Buddy A specialized in music. He would burn you any CD you wanted for $25 per song. Buddy B specialized in games. $5 per game, provided he could find an ISO and a crack for it. Movies were my specialty, but I never charged since I was convinced digital movie piracy would get me laid in HS. Back in the late 90s, the internet was still new, and Columbine hadn't happened yet. It was cool to be a revolutionary terrorist. You were supposed to stand against the government because the government was hiding things from you, like aliens. We traded in floppy disks that had TXT documents with terrorist manuals on them, gum making guides and whatnot. The most edgy of the edgelords actually printed out those long rambling messes and carried them around in 3-ring binders. Only seniors were allowed off-campus lunch. As seniors, we would go to Little Caesars, get $4 5 hot and ready pizzas and sell them at $3 a slice. We'd get a $19 profit per pizza. We did this normally twice a week. Monster energy drink. When I was in high school we went through Michelle Obama's Healthy Kids Act transition. As a freshman we had all kinds of pop and chips and junk food. But by senior year they had slowly weaned out everything unhealthy from the vending machines and cafeteria. The computer design teacher began selling monsters to students. He would buy them by the case and sell them $2 a pop and turn a pretty good profit. There was always a line out the door to his room in the mornings. He got caught and was forced to stop. That lasted like 2 months. He started selling them again, but this time us students were real secretive so it didn't get taken away again. Sweets and Capri Sun. as we were not allowed those on our school campus, so I just created my first gummy bear cartel until a teacher found out. The best thing, we just gave him a weekly free pack of gummy bears so he would look away. TLDR. I have had my own candy cartel. I used to sell high quality pens for triple and quadruple the price. Things like the Uniball and the V5 were money makers. This was in grade school. I'd pack my pens in a pouch and everyone knew I had pens, so when they asked I'd let them sift through the pens in class and then collect the $sign that they left in the pouch. We had a time in school where people bought cheap electric fly swatters and snapped the main part off but left two little wires coming out of the handle. Little tasers for $5. When I was in elementary school, I held a gambling ring that mostly revolved around good stationery. We were stupid. I'm in California. My uncle visited from out of state and brought a couple bricks of firecrackers and a whole bunch of small bottle rockets. It was nothing fancy. Those two items are not allowed in California, so they were a novelty. I sold the firecrackers at 2 packs for $5. They were small packs. The bottle rockets were 3 for $10. I made a lot of money that year. Then my dad noticed they were gone. He was mad that I didn't split the profit, but didn't hit me because he thought it was a pretty good hustle. A boy I had been selling to found a way to take over being the supplier. Luckily, I never got caught. I can't imagine what would have happened. Also, I graduated in 1993, so this was about 1991. There was no social media and whatnot for proof. I was a quiet, not too popular but decently liked white girl. I played stupid really well. Condoms. Guys I went to school with were too scared to go to the store and buy them. I would buy the largest packs I could and sell them for $1 a pop. Code word mints. You're the plug, LMAO. Warheads. Yes. We had a whole cartel for warheads at my school. Girl Scout cookies. Thin mints were a serious form of currency. And still is. And should be. I am pretty sure you could entice a large segment of the soccer mom population to do your bidding with a sleeve of that dark chocolate minty gold. Candy necklaces. When I was in middle school, people would buy them at the store for 10 cents each, and then sell them at school for 50 cents each. I never understood how that market worked, since they weren't exactly an illicit item. Kids made these things called hornets that were essentially folded pieces of paper that you would launch with a rubber band, resulting in one of the most painful objects devised by man. It got to the point where kids started putting thumbtacks, sharp objects in the hornets. I remember using a spare USB drive and one of those tags used to keep bread fresh to make something I called a scorpion. Of course I never used it on anyone. The whole craze lasted no more than a month, though, as the school held an entire assembly to put a ban on these things. They claimed the ban was due to kids having an allergy to the latex in the rubber bands, which was obviously not true. Never was sure why they didn't just say that they were dangerous. I went to high school in Alabama. The smoking age in Alabama is 19. We lived about 40 miles away from the Florida border where the smoking age is 18. Once I turned 18, I became a cigarette and dip smuggler. In elementary school there was a thriving black market for cinnamon toothpicks. These were just toothpicks that had been dipped in cinnamon oil. The kids got the idea cinnamon toothpicks were contraband, so they were sold back and forth in little foil packets. There were producers, pushers, consumers. Eventually the teachers and administrators found out about the illicit cinnamon toothpicks and they were banned from school. Notes were sent home to parents warning of this new menace to the welfare of the youth. Some kids got suspended. It got way out of hand. They were just cinnamon toothpicks. All they would do is burn your tongue a little. I turned my locker into a fridge by insulating it and putting ice packs on the top and replacing them every day. I sold MT2 to people because it was banned from the vending machines. Sprite remix for some odd reason. Kids were going crazy over that sheet and only one vending machine in the school had it. Eventually got to the point that people were bringing in 6 and 12 packs to sell separately. I'm elementary, it was Legos. No one really had money, so we would just trade them. Most of the trading was just harder to get minifigures. I remember trading away a Boba Fett figure from the original set. I wasn't very smart back then. Definitely sugary drinks. Our school had all diet or no calorie drinks after they passed a law to remove sugar from our district. People were selling Arizona's $1 cans from their lockers with a bit of a markup to make money. Woodwind instrument reeds. I went to a high school that catered to the performing arts. Our music program offered us reeds but charged $3 for each one. Being the smartesses that we were, we'd split the cost of a large box and sell it to the other kids. Now there was an idiot who tried to undercut us and we had no idea how, as we were already selling at the bare minimum. Found out he was stealing from the teacher stock as he found a way to get into the cabinet. I was the black market. Back in college, I used to sell my services doing projects for people who were too lazy and too rich to do their work. Don't have time to do this research paper? Send it to me and I'll do it for cash. Chewing tobacco. Went to a hick school. No lie, people were selling them in baggies and the staff thought they were selling weed-o in the bathroom. Ugh. That wet black menthol flavored weed-o is the worst. Homework. Did the same thing. I made good money in HS selling copies of finished homework assignments. Made more selling old tests for the lazy teachers that reused questions. 7th grade, the Wi-Fi password. I had it. My classmates had no idea how to retrieve it from their devices after I had entered it. So everyone wanted it. Full stop. I ran a gum dealing ring out of my locker for 3 years until I was caught right before finals week junior year. My dad worked for Wrigley Gum and would get an endless supply of any type of their gum for free, and we had just stacks and drawers full of it in our house. I started selling the big double packs they used to make $4.25 and would make around $10 by the time lunch hit. There were times I would get back to my locker to find a group of people waiting for me to sell to them, or would have to carry around my merchandise to classes as I would get stopped in the halls and asked to buy from. When I was caught, I was locked in ICE for a week and had to write an essay about how I was ruining my school. Funny thing is, I never wrote the essay and spent the week after Christmas break in ICE basically on vacation, as all I had to do was play Game Boy or read comics since the semester just started and I wasn't in class to learn.